problem is. Now, the rest of this chapter is really interesting because when we go into this, and probably I may continue this on on Sunday, because there's so much more here. People, I went to, people go to marriage and counseling, all this kind of counseling. But here on page 418 in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, in the first paragraph, it starts to say, acceptance has been the answer to my marital problems. I don't know how much time will go much into this, but here and maybe read this so you'd be ready. I never did this before, but maybe have an assignment to read page 418 to page 420. But here it talks about, we have steps 8 and 9 where we do the practical experience in life, and we go and we, use this to make amends to people, right? But we had to be ready. We had to be out of the self, because, so here it explains it's life-changing. But again, this is about a marriage, but it could be related to, if, with somebody at work, it could be related to anybody and anything. Again, it's situation at work. You try to make people, try to have love, patience. We don't have to try, actually. It's just there. God will, the higher source will be there, which is always there. And when we get rid of these things that are blocking out the flow of the power, that's exactly what it is. We're blocking out that flow of power by our defects of character, the selfishness, self-centeredness. When we relax and let go and pray and meditate and whatever it is, we see and observe, we all of a sudden, the world becomes understanding the world through the eyes of God, a higher power, love, patience, tolerance. Why, just like when a baby's crying, we don't get upset with them. Or, in sick man prayer talks about going to visit a friend in the hospital who has a physical illness. We don't get upset. But yet when people are spiritually, or they're not balanced and they're acting a certain way, and, they're hurt about something, obviously, like I said, if they were happy, they would give us a hug. But otherwise, they're trying to, there's a saying that crazy people want to make other people crazy so they feel better. And also there's another one that says, I'll go crazy trying to figure out a crazy person. So the answer is getting still and quiet. I used to go to a meeting, and the nun was there, and she would always say when it's her turn to share, everybody's talking about all their problems and everything going on in their life. And she would just say, just sit, just sit. That's the answer right there. Just sit, be content with yourself, because the happiness is in here. If you want momentary pleasure, go out and do these things for pleasure, like the food is a momentary pleasure. The alcohol, taking those drinks, the drugs, everything's momentary pleasure. But on the other side is a lot of devastation, because when we're out of the pleasurable situation, like the man who climbed Mount Everest, I always say on the way home, he probably had an argument with the taxi cab driver when he got home with his wife. So here's the way we act. And then also he was sitting there realizing now he's not happy anymore. So he's got to climb how many more? 7 more mountaintops to be happy. That's the way we are. More money, more success, more power over people, more position and jobs. We want more. It doesn't end because our ego says, hey, that's the answer. We get out of the self and we have more happiness and joy. So this is going to be on page 418 to 420. It talks about this practical application about what I'm saying here. So if I probably I'll do it next time, but if I don't, we'll hit upon it. I know I've hit upon it before, but it's all the same thing. Look, let me just finish with this. Let the light switch go on. This is a simple program. It's just about releasing the old self, the old way of thinking. When we're upset and depressed, there's something about happening in the past. The past could be an illusion. All of this crazy thinking, so the future is anxiety. Always have the saying, I say, I'm always planning the past, right? Get it? Or I'm always resenting the future. Okay. So that's insanity. That's the insanity of our thinking. Be in the present now. And all of these emotions and things of anger, fear, frustration, or sentimental feelings, that's not really, we weren't meant to be in the self and like that thinking. We were meant to be in this, to see the universe and feel the vibrations around us and be happy, joyous, and free. And, no matter what goes on around us on the outside, we could just look and smile, no matter what happens. Even, I'll just start and with this, even our own death or whatever. When we're out of the self, it's not about us anymore. We can accept anything.